Hey, this is C Grove, and today I want to talk to you about the Atlanta Regional Championship. I just got back from it. I played this really fun deck. I think you'll find it's pretty interesting and unique. It is a Terapagos EX, Zoroark, and Zoroark EX combo. I invented this deck a bit ago, and I was on Terrabox and kind of thinking about Tank Terapagos, but I feel like the meta shifted so hard away from those that I couldn't play them. So I switched to Dragapult, the day before, but I just only got, a dozen games on it and just didn't feel comfortable with it. Didn't feel good about any of my choices, so I said, you know what? I think this deck is solid, and it does have a bad Dragapult matchup, so I put in the Clefairy last minute, like last 2 seconds. I submitted my list 2 seconds before the deadline, and yeah, so this is the deck: 4/4 Hoodoo Noctowl, 3 Terapagos, 2/2 Zoroark with just the Reshiram, 2 Rotom, Latias, Ursaluna, Clefairy, mainly for Dragapult, but also really good into, decks that utilize the Area Zero, and then Pheasantipity. Iono, only 2 Iono, 1 Research. Originally I had 2 Research, but I found myself discarding resources too often than I needed. I usually only play 1 draw supporter a game. Sometimes I end up playing more, especially if it's a longer game and I'm using Iono to disrupt. So I'd rather have 2 Iono there anyways. But I would say the normal, well, I'll get into that in a second. Then 1 boss, 1 black belt training, 1 Turo, 1 Briar, and then I play a Pal Pad to get them back. I would say the normal path, I guess, is turn 1, try to go first. Turn 2, Iono or Research. Turn 3, Black Belt's Training. Turn 4, Briar. And that's it. So then you have the 4 Nest, 4 Ultra, 2 Buddy Buddy, just trying to get our guys. 5 Energy, 3 Dark, and 2 Psychic, and 2 Earth and Vessel. Originally I had 6, and then like 4 Dark, 2 Psychic, and 1 Earth and Vessel, but when you prize Earth and Vessel, it's awful. So, yeah, went to 2, cut an energy for a second, and it's felt really great. Only trouble is if you prize 2 is normally okay, but if you prize 3 energies, it's really tough. But it's not very likely. So, Buddy Buddy Poffin, 2, I said that, and then a counter catcher and a prime catcher so that we can bring up like a Pheasantipity and Briar, or yeah, target selection is really important with this list. The 1 energy switch is good with the Glass Trumpet, or the ends PP up lets me go into Lily's Clefairy. And then we have 1 switch for if Zoroark gets stuck active or they're sobbing or whatever. And then 1 Defiant Span. Just so we can do more damage when we're behind. We normally want to take 1 prize, they take 2, we take 2, they take 2, and then Defiant Span is good because you're behind every time it's your turn. Area 0 Under Depths 3, pretty standard for stuff like this. So, as I said, I changed my deck list right before and had deck list error. Realized it during my first game, which I was very confident I was going to win. Called the judge over, got the game loss. Won game 2, dead drew game 3. Felt really, really, really bad. It was a Tank Terapagos. Opponent was awesome, but yeah, felt really bad to lose like that. But after that, he got up and left, and I was like, well, let me go through my list and make sure it's all correct. So I went through, and I had another deck list error that I didn't notice during the game. Called the judge over and confessed. And the judge said, look, you lost the round, you got the punishment, fix the deck, it's fine. So I thought that was both gracious and fair, sort of, or in alignment with the spirit of the game, sort of. You know what I mean. I felt that was good. It would have been weird to get another game lost going into the next round. But anyways, next round I hit Goldango, which is a good matchup because of Briar Defiance. Game 1, Briar was unfortunately in my last 3 prizes, but game 2 I took it, and then game 3, Defiance was in my last 3 prizes. So I just, and even then it came down to, because I had Ionoed him low, and then he used gear and had like 20 cards in deck and hit his last boss. So unfortunate, very unfortunate. So I'm starting the tournament 0-2. I don't think I've ever done that at a regional. Felt really bad. And then, but it took all the pressure off. And I was like, I'm here with so many friends. This is my local regional, only 2 hours for me. And I'm just here for vibes. I'm playing my favorite deck that I made up. I'm vibing. So it made the tournament really fun. But then I played a Bolt. The player was a bit newer, and it's a great matchup. So I was able to 2-0 that very quickly. Then I played a Dragapult, and that's my worst matchup, as I told you. But I won a long game 1, and then between games, he was a store owner, and I asked him a question while we were shuffling, and then he just monologued about it. And I could have just let him keep going, and then probably just won the only game 1, but I stopped. I was like, "Hey, do you want to say if you want first or second?" He's like, "Oh yeah, sorry." So then he ended up winning game 2, and then we didn't have time to start game 3, so we just tied, which is a fine result for me with Pulp. Then against Take Terapagos, I think it was Take Terapagos was the next round. I'm a little fuzzy on my middle rounds here, but very good matchup. Clefairy can one shot. And even if they stay to 7, which a lot of players will do to avoid the Clefairy, then they're not knocking out your Terapagos. And I can still knock them out with, Defiance or Black Belt. So then, win that one, go to the next one, hit a Dango, another good matchup, 2-0, go to the next one, hit Terrabox, and I am so cringe. So my opponent sits down and I'm like, "Hey, how are your last rounds? How's it going?" He said, "My last rounds were..." Or no, I said, "How were your last rounds?" He said, "Very frustrating." I was like, "Oh, okay." Flip over. He attached passes. I draw. I put down... I nest ball for the Fan Rotom. Have the stadium in hand, attach Turo, Donk. And I'm trying to be sympathetic, but I said it in the worst way possible. I'm trying to say, like, "Hey, I'm sorry that, you just had some frustrating rounds, and then this happens. I hope it's not the same kind of frustration," was kind of the idea I was trying to get at. And I didn't say this exact phrase, but basically what I said was like, "Was it frustrating like that?" Like, "Oh, I'm such an idiot." I don't know. So I felt really, really bad. And I apologized a little bit while later. I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry if that came off like I was trying to antagonize you. I really wasn't." And he's like, "It's fine." I was like, "Okay." And then the next game, I was drawing bad at the beginning, and he took 2 prizes, but then I was able to get a knockout after that, and he just couldn't draw. And the only attack he did for the rest of the game was Sob. So... And I just had Switch in hand, so I just won that. And as soon as I dropped the Switch, he just picked up his stuff, put it in the bag, and was out. And that is why I hate going to X2-1, because everyone you beat, you're eliminating. And so I was 1-2-1, so I just got to eliminate a bunch of people in a row. So then I hit Dragapult. Again, my worst matchup. This was Dragapult Charizard, and a really great series, a lot of back and forth, and I think I won game 1 and he won game 2, and then game 3. Either way, game 3, he gets all this damage spread around all my bench. So my Zorua has 10, my Hoodoo has 10, my other Hoodoo has 10, my third Hoodoo has 10, and then my Latias has 10. And so all he had to do was attack with 1 Dragapult. But I was able to he had taken a knockout. So I got Fezandipity and drew 3 cards and either researched or Iono. I think I did that first. But got the Zoroark, got a Noctowl, and then got 2 more Noctowl. So I evolved everything so that he couldn't win the game the next turn, and then I was able to take it as a result. When I knocked out his Dragapult, he had 6 bench and he had Fezandipity left, and he had to choose, do I drop Pheasantipity or Badoo? But he didn't have what he needed, so he dropped Badoo, and then drew for turn and got what he needed. So he could have dropped, but you can't know that. I think he made the right decision, but because the Pheasantipity was up, he went into Bear instead of Charizard, and but I had it either way, so ended up winning that one. It was a really good match, and then my last match I hit Pult again. So Pult's my worst matchup, but I'm 1-0-1 against it at the moment. And game one, I start double Terapagos, nothing else. Draw, attach energy, pass. He draws, gets some stuff, goes into Badoo, and swings. I draw an energy, attach energy, knockout. He's stamp, goes back into Badoo, and I just knock out. And then and at that point, I don't have a discard pile. So I've taken 3 turns, and I have not played a card other than energy. So it was crazy. But he's able to just set up and win. And then the next game was very similar. So I just lost to Badoo Stamp while Dragapult set up and then beat me. But, if I didn't have the deck list error, the whole day is different. Who knows what happens. But I really like the deck. Having a bad Pult matchup I knew was bad. Clefairy helped me go 1-1-1 against it, so felt good about that. But, yeah, tough tournament, but I had a blast, and I wanted to share the list with you all and my experience. So, had a fun time. I'm at 680, which is probably not enough for Worlds. So, I can't go to NAIC, can't go to Milwaukee because it got sold out so quick. So it's just Portland for me, and I basically have to 64 it or 32 it, I think, to really seal it Worlds. But maybe if I top 128 it, I'd feel pretty good. But we'll see how that goes. Thanks for watching. Peace.